YouTube, I'm back. I know I've been missing for a while, but thank you for sticking around. So, on to today's DIY. I've had this little corner in my house and it's plain and dull, and I filled with plants, which was absolutely amazing, but it doesn't get the best sunlight. So, some of the plants were dying, and I want to revamp the space, make sure my plants get the right light. I'm moving them out of the space, and I want to turn it into something cozy. It's right next to my fireplace, and it's a central point in the lounge that draws your eye very quickly when you enter. And so I want to cozy the space up by turning this chair into a focal point. And how I'm going to do that is by covering it with Sherpa. So without talking too much about it, let's get straight to it.
For this DIY, I used Sherpa Fabric, a needle, thread in the same color as my fabric, and a heavy-duty staple gun. I started by removing the pillow from the chair and then simply throwing the fabric over and tucking it in so I could have a good look at where my staples would need to go to secure the beginning of my fabric base. Once I was sure there was enough fabric to cover all the sides of my chair, I then used my staple gun to secure the fabric to the chair, starting from the front and working my way around. By tucking the fabric into the top of the chair at the very beginning, this allowed me to pull the fabric nice and tight when stapling to get a smooth finish. When working with the edges of your chair, don't get too concerned with all the extra fabric. Just make sure that you secure the fabric to the base, getting it nice and tight, and then we'll deal with the loose fabric later. Pulling the fabric nice and tight and holding it in place is a tricky job when stapling at the same time, so a second pair of hands is always handy, and this is my hubby Nathan, so thanks Nathan. Once my entire base around the bottom of the chair was secure, I cut the excess fabric off from the back and bottom of the chair, and this would later be used to cover my cushion seat. For the sides of my chair, I started by cutting some excess fabric and then using my needle and thread with my very little sewing skills to create a seam. So after cutting my fabric, leaving a little bit extra room for error, I then made sure that I used my needle and thread and sewed as close to the chair as possible. So you'll see me tugging on the fabric, pulling it nice and tight on either side, and putting my needle and thread through from top to bottom, pulling it as tightly as possible. Once you've stitched from top to bottom and you've secured and tied your knot in place, you can then cut off the thread and then cut off the excess fabric. All I did was give it a nice tug, holding the place where I had stitched in place and then cutting just above that, trying to cut as close to where you've stitched as possible, but leaving a little bit of room. And then all you do is fluff it out. This fabric is so forgiving and it looks absolutely amazing. Then it's time to repeat this step on all the other sides and edges of your chair. After repeating this process on all edges, including my pillow cover, it was reveal time.
And there you have it, a statement Sherpa chair on a budget. So what you'll notice is the legs of my chair are now black, and I think that looks so chic with the white fabric. What I did was, unfortunately, I didn't have an Allen key, so I wasn't able to remove the legs to sand and paint them separately. So I had to do that with the fabric on, which is very tricky. So if you can, and if you do want to paint your legs of your chair, make sure you do that beforehand, and always make sure you sand down the legs before you either paint or spray them. But I think it turned out absolutely amazing. If you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe, and let me know in the comments below if you have any questions or what you'd like to see me try next. So until next time, bye.